Today we're relaxing by the lake with Chris, a QHS member whose life journey is refreshing and inspiring as a day spent by the water. But what currents guided him to where he is today? Let's take a peaceful stroll through his story and see what's been happening behind the scenes.
My name is Christopher, born 4/21/1965 in Lansing, Michigan. Citizenship U.S. Mom's side was from Germany. Dad's side was like Ireland, England kind of thing. Mother and father were both Christian. Culture-wise, they were Americans. Ethnic, Lansing, Michigan. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, pretty much. And I grew up in northern Michigan. Childhood, I was working on the farm the whole time. Well, we kind of lived way the heck out in the middle of nowhere. My grandparents' house was half a mile away. I was very shy. Well, I became self-employed in my 20s. As a licensed real estate appraiser, I had to become a little bit bolder for that. My sister and brother-in-law had moved to Souris, North Dakota. So I had that as a cushion. When I got to North Dakota, I stayed in their RV, which was out in their lawn. I ended up at a grain elevator in Russell, North Dakota. Kind of way out in the middle of nowhere. But that turned out to be a good choice because I met every single farmer within 20 miles by working at that grain elevator. They were all good people. That was my impression. So I decided that I liked it already. Plus I found an apartment that would let me keep my cat, which was very important. I had to have my cat. Runtling and I were best buddies. But the grain elevator worked out pretty good. I met a lot of people, including people who would be important to me later in life. And then one day, I tended to be kind of a giver and sharer type. One day I made a bunch of chocolate chip cookies, and all of the guys that I knew from my church, they used to go fishing out on this lake. We called it Lake Kirsten, but it was just a dammed up little creek. But it did have fish. It had lots of perch in it. And I could tell one of the guys had one of those things that you drop to the bottom of the lake, and it's like a camera. You could turn it around, you could see all of the fish. So I made chocolate chip cookies, and I took them back and I gave them to all of those guys that were fishing. And one of them turned out to be a carpenter guy. And he offered me a job. He was building well site buildings for Sun Manufacturing. Offered me a job for $16 an hour, which was crazy high. Nobody was making $16 an hour around there at that time. So I was pretty happy to do that, so I said yes, of course. We were building oil well site buildings out of wood, 2x4 construction, 16-inch on center, half-inch sheeting on the walls and roof, tar paper, and steel. It was all 29 gauge steel on the interior and exterior. White interior and Hess's green color on the exterior. At that time, carpentry was my occupation. I was building oil well site buildings. Some of them I built, some of them I just completed them. There were wood ones that I built. A lot of those I had to engineer it myself. Up to 21. At one time we had 21 employees. That was a bit much though, so generally it got down to 12 later and stuck around that number. I had a stroke a little over a year ago, and on the brain bleed. That 100% paralyzed my left side, which meant that climbing up on 20-foot tall roofs was not a good idea for me to be doing all day long. A lot of times feels like my brain is half there. I think I used to be pretty sharp, but not anymore. A lot of times I just forget things. Yes, I do get headaches. Oh, I've had tinnitus now for about 6 months. This whole nerve that starts here and goes like that down my left arm to the fingers. Used to have a occupational therapy guy who would bend these fingers back, like hyperextend them, and boy, I could feel that all up that nerve. And if I had my head turned the wrong way, it would hurt all the way up to here. like where that nerve goes. It was completely disabled for quite some time after that stroke. And then one day I just decided to move it and lifted it up. I have to be able to see it and I have to grunt, but I can lift the leg now, which is good because physical therapy here pretty much demands that I be able to do that. And some standing with help. They have parallel bars, and I pull the wheelchair up to the side of the parallel bars, and I grab one of the parallel bars and pull myself up to standing and try to stand up nice and tall. And standing up, I can sit back down into the wheelchair. I also have this thing called a platform walker, where you kind of put your arms up there and hold onto these vertical poles, and your feet are on the ground. Just take whatever steps you can. I think I've taken a maximum of 5 steps on that thing in one day. And those are real steps.
Are you going to walk again?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever had any doubt?
No doubts. In fact, I'm getting a little grumpy about it and insisting it's going to happen pretty soon. I'm going to be walking down this hallway. Also get a little sick of being in a wheelchair all the time. It's not very comfortable.
Post QTWE healing device, because you're getting a new device. You'll be wearing a new device.
Oh, that's
probably.
great.
What do you hope that the outcome is? I mean, what would be the best scenario for you?
I would hope that my left leg would stop cramping up all night long. It hurts and it keeps me up. It feels like my whole leg is just cramping up and shoving all the blood down to my foot. So my ankle really hurts in the morning. And my knee really hurts.
What else do you hope for?
Left knee and ankle are the top 2.
Anything for your left arm or shoulder or wrist or fingers? Anything there?
Well, my left shoulder is also being worked on with Botox. Botox was injected, and then it's getting stretched almost every day.
Ideally, what would be the outcome?
Ideally, my left leg and arm would be 100% again.
And what would you be able to do?
I'd be walking and I could use my left arm as well as I could use my right arm, which is 100%. At this point, mostly I need the left arm for helping me train up to be able to walk again. So it's kind of got to go in steps. I got to get the left arm 100% and then the left leg.
So currently in life, are you in an upswing or a downswing?
Oh, I believe I'm in an upswing.
Does the future look promising?
Yes, it does.
And right now you currently live in a skilled nursing facilities with specific rehab for brain injury.
Yeah.
Where would you like to be once the healing is done?
I'd love to be back home. I've got lots of cats and dogs and everything that I miss, and Krista, of course.
Are you interested in helping others?
Oh yeah, I've always been into charities and community service.
If given the opportunity to be a part of QHS in helping others, would you do that?
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.